Paul A. Logan, Pokemon scalpers, and furries. What do these three things have in common? They like to LARP. Granted, furries LARPing is a little different than things like Paul A. Logan and scalpers. You probably know what LARPing means, but in case you don't,
Luffy D Monkey, shout out Luffy.
as anime continues to grow larger as time goes on, the amount of people who pretend like they've been watching anime since they graced this earth will gradually increase. Do you remember when anime was a niche community and people used to get bullied over liking this sort of thing? And Paul A. Logan is definitely that type of person to make fun of you for liking something like anime. Now he's pretending to be a One Piece fan. What I'm trying to say is, as anime grows, there will always be people who act like they know everything about the latest anime trend. However, me shitting on Paul A. Logan and Scalper is not the main point of this video. There have been many videos doing that already. As the word LARP has been thrown around so frequently, I'm curious though, when does someone stop becoming a LARPer? Because if you take a diehard fan of My Hero Academia, some of the diehard fans would most likely call more casual fan a LARPer because they don't know how every quirk in the series interact with each other. How much of something do you have to know to not be labeled as a LARPer? Let's take J-pop as an example, specifically Ado. Do you have to know every single song she sang? Do you have to know every single collab she's ever done? Do you have to know all the merch drop and have gotten every single merch exclusive? Or do you have to simply enjoy the songs? When they say they are an Ado fan, can they just like the song without being able to name them at all? Does that still make them a fan? Do you get what I'm trying to ask? Where is the bar when it comes to being a fan of something? I'd like to give one more example, and this time using anime, specifically JJK, because it currently has the biggest community and it's more likely people will understand the reference. Like, how much about JJK does one need to know to be considered a fan? Is it enough if they have watched all the seasons? Or do they have to know the curse technique of every character? Or do they have to know how the entire curse technique works? Do they have to know the names of all the voice actors in the show? How much of this show do you have to watch to not be considered a LARPer? Personally, I think you do have to know the key details of a show or a singer, because naturally as you continue to watch the show, you'll start to know more and more about something. I think even just knowing Yuji and Gojo and their relationship is enough to classify you as a JJK fan. And I think someone only steps into the realm of LARPing is when they start to act like they know more than they do. Even when they do act like that, if they're not being a dick about it, like, who really even cares? However, what really gets on my nerve is diehard fans of something calling more casual fans a LARPer because they don't know as much as they do. That really irks me because we currently live in a world where either you know or love everything about something or you're just a LARPer. It's just super hard to be a casual fan of something, and people who attack someone for not being a much of a diehard fans are really lame in my opinion. And there's one final question I do want to talk about, like, does LARPing harm the community? I think yes and no. No, because if someone is just pretending to be a fan of a series they've never seen, eventually it will just come bite them in the ass. Yes, because people who scalp product to make a profit, you see this mostly in Pokemon, where kids can't even buy packs anymore because the scalper who pretend to be collectors are buying everything. And also yes, because of people like Paul A. Logan who comes into a community, bring his minions, and since Logan Paul has a One Piece manga, they also suddenly need one. It creates much more demand for something, and a higher demand for something usually increases the price, which could be horrible for the people who have been part of a community for a really long time. I sure as fuck don't want Paul A. Logan promoting Sutomayo merch. Anyway, just a very long shower thought that I had that I wanted to share with people. What is your stance on this? And if you have anything you want to share, let me know. Thank you for watching. That's about it. See you.